Daddy, I'll pass from here down to Kumasi, Kumasi, oh. Waiting you know fit to Kumasi, oh, go see.
Hey everyone, this is another episode of Stories and Songs, and I've got in the studio a very special friend of mine. His name is Realerman. We've known each other way back in Abuja so many years ago, about 5 or 6 years ago, right? Yeah, he has been my friend, and we coincidentally met in Lagos. We came back to Lagos almost the same time, and we also coincidentally met in church. We started attending the same church almost the same time. So right here, I really want to introduce him properly so that you guys will know who Realerman is. Daniel Ife Joshua, popularly known as Realerman, is a Christian Afrobeats artist dedicated to fusing the vibrant soul of Afrobeats with the powerful message of the gospel. Realerman's growing influence is further evidenced by his performances on platforms alongside Nigeria's A-list gospel artists, including Moses Bliss, Samsung, Frank Edwards, Testimony Jagger, and Rap Nation. Rooted in African rhythms, Realerman's sound delivers an eternal message of faith, hope, and purpose, inspiring listeners and connecting them with God in an authentic way. For Realerman, every beat and every word is more than just music. It's ministry, it's culture, and it's real. And right here in the studio, I have Realerman. How you doing, Realerman?
Doing great, man. All right, so it's just amazing that I'm right here with Jamie and Seth again. And this is an amazing time for the world to know about what we do. And for me as Realerman now, you know what time it is. Realerman is not just a name, as I often do not get the opportunity to let people know what the name stands for.
Okay.
So Realerman is not just another name out there. It's a brand that represents the state of God. So the state of being God, that's what Realerman is. It's a revelation that I think when more people begin to understand, they would know how to benefit of there's so much that name can bring to you. So Realerman means the state of being God. Yeah, so I will leave the paparazzi around the name on one side. I just want a lot of people to know that what we do here in the creative space as per music is just something that is one of the expressions that God has ensured that everyone has and can use to impact the world. And right here we are, that's what we're doing, impacting the world. Yeah, that's it.
So before we go on, I have some few questions for you, and I hope you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So the first one is, at what point did you know that gospel music was your lane, not just talent-wise, but spiritually? At what point did you know that gospel music was your lane?
I guess it was at the point when I was trying to ensure that there was something meaningful out of my life. Okay. Because I'm a very intentional person. I like to see that whatever it is I'm trying to do, I'm not just doing it for doing sake. There should be an intention behind it. This is the physical aspect. And I got into observing what people really, or what really resonates with people. And Afrobeat it was for me. Growing up, I listened to a lot of Afrobeats, and I saw the way that I connected with the vibe, and I knew there were a lot of other people that had to be out there that would relate with Afrobeat the way that I did. So I took some time this was 2015. Yes, 2015. I took some time to do some research around the Afrobeat genre, what makes it Afrobeat, how the compositions are like. I went out to places where I got inspired around that. Koza, for instance, Koza in Abuja. And I saw a lot of amazing stuff around. I was like, yes, so that means this is doable, this is possible. And just right there, the leading was strong in my heart. So it transcended from just wanting to do something different to, young man, this is the group of people that I want you to reach out to. So not necessarily just being in the church, doing temple music per se. Go into the world, as the scripture says, and make disciples of men, make impact for the kingdom. So that was where the calling started becoming stronger and go to these people. And since then, that's just been one right after another.
So did you ever take inspirations from secular artists sometimes?
Inspirations? No. But did I learn from what they did? Yes. Because it's as basic as going to school to study accounting and saying, did you get inspiration on how to account for money. There is a system there that teaches you how to account for money.
Okay.
But there are also people that would abuse some of that to do certain things. So people of the world will do that. But you as a Christian will know that you shouldn't do that. So that's why I said inspiration, no. But I learned, when I said I was studying about Afrobeats, I had to understand what makes Afrobeats Afrobeats. Afrobeat did not originate from the church. Yes, so I needed to really understand. So that would have meant...
Where did it originate from?
From the world, as we would put it, yes.
Okay.
So it meant that I had to listen to some of the songs that they do, not for inspiration.
But for what?
But for understanding what the craft was really about, what it was. Because if you are trying to do something different, you must be able to understand what makes it that before you can use it for whatsoever medium that you're trying to use it to communicate.
Okay.
So if I'm saying I want to do an Afrobeat song and I still sound like a tempo musician, then it's not Afrobeat. So I must know what entails Afrobeat, the wordplay, the melody manipulation, all of that. One just needs to know that. And
okay. Talking about success, have you ever thought that these guys outside the church are more successful than the church guys?
Well, for me, success is relative. Yeah. So what considers to be success out there does not necessarily translate to success in this part of existence that we Christians live in, the kingdom, as it were. For a secular person, gaining the millions of streams and having songs on the mainstream, chatting
that's success.
Around, that's success.
That's success
but for us on this side of the world, even if 300 people, 500 people, 1,000 people are listening to my song and it's impacting their lives, for me, that is success. So that's also celebrating wins at different levels. There would also be a time when we would experience the topping chart songs and the multiple streams, but I'm saying that that's not the measure for success in this kingdom where we are. It's not the measure. So answering your question, if I think I think that in the secular space, that passes for success, but I wouldn't consider it that they are doing more better than, or they are more successful than.
But the Bible said we should go into the world and preach the gospel to everyone, to all creations.
Anyone that will preach to the world will definitely start from somewhere. Yes. So the many people that we know today, they didn't start out being as big as they are in quote today. So they started by reaching out to 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, and it grew to the number that it is right now. So going into the world does not necessarily mean you would impact the world all at once. It's a joint effort. Everyone has his part to play in the ecosystem of the music space and the world at large. The music is an expression, and I know that I'm not the only person gifted with music. So it means that myself, coupled with some other people who would allow themselves be used, would collaboratively reach the world. So it's not going to be just one person doing it. It's possible, but it's not just going to be one person.
So I would ask you this now. Between fame and money, which would you pick and why?
Between fame and money, my personal preference will be fame.
Okay.
Not money per se. Why am I saying so? Now, would you not like to be sponsored and supported by people and funded and by people and you are the popular guy? Would you not like that?
Or what if you have the money to fund yourself?
What if I have the money to fund myself? The advantage that would be is you would call the shots. You would do some things that some other persons might not be able to. You will not be limited. But then it would mean you being able to get that money in the first place. It's going to require you doing some other things, which likely will not give you an 100% room for your music to get. So at the end of the day, you just have to pick one. So for me, that's why I say my personal preference is fame in the guise of definitely it's going to have impact of money that we're talking about, but it does not directly have to be me. So the advantage fame has for me is the fact that I now have a platform to impact people that are out there. If I have all the money and I'm not known, there's no impact as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Let's do it like this. If there was a Don Jazzy in the gospel scene, would you want to be under Don Jazzy or would you want to be an independent artist having the same font Don Jazzy has?
Okay, so for me, again, I would say that for music, as it were, I don't see people that are in partnership in the guise of being in a label as being under somebody. That's not the way I look at it. I look at it as partnership. Yes, you have the resources, I have the talent. Let's bring it together and get a result.
Then there's a contract that binds you.
There's a contract that binds. So if I have that money, why not? Of course, I would do the same thing I would have done if I was in the label.
But you won't call all the shots.
If I have my money, I will likely call all the shots because it's my money.
Well, if you're in partnership,
if I'm part of a label, that's why the contract is important. If the contract does not favor the things that I want to do, I wouldn't sign it.
Okay, so what do you hope happens when people hear your music? What do you want them to feel or walk away with or believe?
Wow. What do I want people to believe? What do I want them to feel? Well, for me, music is always about what you can relate with. Like I said earlier, I said it's one of the expressions of God. So I want people to be able to see that God is not boxed into a certain form. That if it is not like this, it is not God. So it's one of the challenges that I think we've had for a while in the Christian music space because of, if it's not slow worship, if it's not praise, if it's not this. I think we're trying to box God into a kind of expression. So I want people to be able to experience God in this way, in a way that their minds literally have likely been conditioned by growing all their lives. For instance, a person that listens to Afrobeat, trap, drill, and all this music all their lives, there's only but some kind of music that would be able to impact their spirit. Not because they're not going to be able to like worship, or they're not going in the secular world, they have blues, they have soul music, solemn songs that people can listen to. But for me, I want it to be that while they're enjoying the music, the word is getting into their spirit. As much as they are singing it, it's beginning to make more sense to them. I can say this for a fact where it happens to me. I will write down the song being inspired by God. There are times when I rehearse to the point and I'm like, man, this is deep. Now that's me relating with that lyrics because I was somebody that related with Afrobeat a lot growing up. And I've heard feedbacks from one or two persons. They're like, no, this guy, your wordplay is good. It's amazing. How do you were able to convey this? Now, you hear that in contrast to some people telling you, it's not like the general, let us do this. Let us. So these are some of the things that people would be able to relate with, and it would help them. So I think it's going to be an amazing thing if more people have an open heart to Afrobeat in the Christian space, because it's playing a lot of role in helping people stay in God. By the way, what song do you think they will listen to if they don't have Afrobeat and they're out of the church premises? Of course, they will listen to those songs that you know. So that's what it is.
But what's the difference between Afrobeats and Afro gospel? Because I keep hearing people say Afro gospel. Is there any difference?
Well, Afrobeat is a genre. We're trying to make Afrobeat a genre also. But I also think that Afrobeat is beyond the genre of Afrobeat. Now, in the context of Afrobeats in the secular space, it means that music from Africa, yes, Afrobeats, a song that is done by an African. Yeah. So Afro gospel, this is like the gospel coming from an African, whether it's music, whether it's dance, whether it's whatever expression it is that is done by an African. So that's what the Afro gospel. So it's not necessarily in the aspect of genre of music.
Okay. So I think the church now, they are beginning to accept Afrobeats. So I would like to ask, has there been any church that you've gone to in the past 1 year that does not really flow with your kind of style?
Well, I wouldn't go to a place where I think that Afrobeat will not be appreciated to start with. Now, this is usually the flip side of these realities. Everybody is fighting for, I want to go to church, for me, my assignment is in the world. And if there is a church that I feel that will not relate with that, why force going there? Why trying to go there to convince them? I believe that if you make so much impact in the world, it would also impact the church somehow. Okay. And they would be able to relate with what is. So to answer your question, I've not been to any church in the last 1 year that does not relate with Afrobeat the way.
So let's say you are now the music director of a local church choir. would you go with the usual flow or would you shake some things up?
Okay. Well, I was also in a choir. I started out in a choir too. So I think there's a place for everything. Yes, there is time to have the solemn tempo music, and there's a time to have it all jammed up. And so we just need to know when to do what.
And I also think it depends on the audience, the people in church, yeah?
It's part of what it depends on. There are people that you might think will not relate with a certain kind of music and would eventually...
Like the older folks, you do think they will
definitely.
relate?
The older folks are struggling with coping with what we have right now because it's not what they grew up being used to. And they find it challenging because it looks like the music of the world, as it were.
To advise, what would you say to those young artists stuck in between choosing gospel or going mainstream?
I like this question a lot because I get this a lot. I've seen a lot of young people meet me in studios and they're like, boss, you don't do secular before. That's basically what they're asking me. Why? Because they can't fathom how you can bring a Christian content into Afrobeats and make it sound the way that it sounds. And they're like, how do you do this? Have you done secular before? So to them, you have to have had an experience there for you to be able to do this. But that is us changing the narrative now. They are saying that this thing is possible in-house. So the more of us that gets on doing this and doing it excellently, the more impact we'll have in helping these guys make a decision. Because many times some of them don't want to stay because they're like, is it worth it? Is it going to be acceptable? Oh, church people are so judgmental. Oh, church people are so... All of that is right there. And it's the reality. Church people can be very judgmental around stuff like this. Yes, but the more of us get into it and make excellence out of what we do, the more we're able to help some of these guys stay. Sometimes it's beyond sitting them down and saying, guy, you have to choose God. You have to stay here. If you follow the word, you go to hellfire. No, that's not what it is. They must be able to see purpose, how they can fulfill purpose through doing that. Because for many people, they just feel like, if I do this, I'll just be there. My life will just be boring. So they need to understand it from the perspective of purpose, which is why I said the more of us are doing it good enough, excellent enough, the more it begins to make sense to some of these guys that truly we can be here and be making impact in the world.
Okay, so like I introduced you before we started as someone that we met in Abuja, and we also coincidentally met in church. I've seen you perform in church several times, and you always shake everywhere. So right now, I would like you to do us the honor in the studio to perform for us. I don't know if you'll do us the honor.
Wow, perform for us.
Yeah.
Well, people are watching, definitely. An opportunity to impact the world is always taken.
All right, Thank you. So the stage is yours.
Wow.
Yeah. Realerman is a wise man. Yeah. Me say, yeah. Daddy, Allah pass from you down to Kumasi, oh. Waiting you know fit to Kumasi, oh. Go see. Whoa, yeah. All right. Hey. My allegiance, oh. It all belongs to you, Father. It belongs to you, Father. It belongs to my allegiance. Oh, it all belongs to you, yeah. Whoa, yeah. Hey, ever had a friend like this? Never seen a lover that loves like him. Gave his all for me on Calvary Street. Never leave me solo. So me pledge my loyalty to your majesty. Day for me steady, be mo shen lo, be mo shen bo. Christ in me, give me victory. Now your love and your word, they keep me on. Now because of your grace, my life it don't balance so. Daddy, your love pass from here down to Kumasi, oh. Waiting you know fit to Kumasi, oh, Kosi. Whoa, yeah, yeah. Whoa, yeah. My allegiance, oh. It all belongs to you, Father. It belongs to you, Father. It belongs to my allegiance. allegiance, allegiance, oh. It all belongs to you, Father. It belongs to you.